The University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign is one of the world's most diverse universities. It has 18% of international students, 16% of Asian American students, and 6% of African American students. The university has strived to foster an inclusive environment to support students from all cultural backgrounds. However, there are numerous unmet needs among students that are negatively impacting their mental health.
Sometimes I feel that the university, not that they don't value me, it's that they don't really care, you know? I feel like they have so many things they're trying to do, but like academics is what they're mainly focused on.
They talk a lot about how they want to support students, but I never felt like it was going to be accessible for me to get mental health support. Or if I could find, like, I wouldn't be able to find someone that understood the issues that I was having from like a cultural standpoint, since I'm South Asian. So like, I think there were things that I may have wanted to talk through related to like my past, how I was raised, things like that.
And I feel like it's hard for us to connect if you're like not in like a sorority or fraternity. It's hard for two Black people to connect.
I think the most that they do in terms of, they do put out like peer advising and just like that type of resources, like, oh, you could get advising for like course scheduling and like more so academic stuff. But I will say I haven't really seen it in terms of like social initiatives, like mental health initiatives and stuff like that. I don't really see it.
International students are also under pressure.
I think it's very important for us to just step out of our comfort zone and be more involved, really immerse ourselves in this culture. I know it's really hard. I mean, this is one of the main struggles for my psychological stressors.
Because if you're an international student, most of them have English as a second language, so it will be not so familiar for them to search online about the opportunities or resources. When they're talking with others, there might be a situation that they want to explain that in this way, but others won't understand.
When I first got here, it was Spring Festival, and it's a very important festival in China. So, but at that time there's no day off, so I have to do all my coursework, and I have to also celebrate those very important festivals.
I'm trying to find an internship for myself these days, and it's really, really, really hard for somebody from a different country or holding an F1 visa. Usually the companies would prefer having somebody who is already here and who would also already know the work culture. Even when we are like having enough skills, we might be denied an opportunity because we are not from here. So that could be one of the things that is kind of greatly affecting on how I see myself sometimes. So I start like questioning my skills and questioning my knowledge.
I miss my home a lot, like during the pandemic, because there's nowhere to go home, and like all my friends at school, they went back to their own homes. I have a great grandmother who is 102 years old now. Yes, she was the side of me when I grew up. So I worried a lot, if I don't go home, will I be able to see her? And with this Asian face, when I was walking on the streets during pandemic, and a group of guys, they were in a car, and they just stopped by me and said something really, really bad to me in Chinese. I don't know where they learned that from. Like, did other international students teach their American friend those F word in Chinese? I was really shocked, and that was the first time I experienced such racism in my life. And I didn't really know what to do, and I just let them go.
How about the LGBTQ group here at UIUC? Do they feel supported?
They're supportive, but not enough. For all the support that I received, all the posters in the library and somewhere in the hallways. And also, I know there's a center for LGBTQ, but the website haven't been updated for a long time. And also sometimes those emails that we value LGBTQ rights, something like that. I think there's no real action in preventing those discrimination on LGBTQ people. My 5-year experience as an example, the instructor never mentioned about the potential sexual harassment for LGBTQ people. During the whole event, transgender hasn't been mentioned once. I think that's a serious problem, and for me, as a member of LGBTQ, I feel uncomfortable.
These psychological stressors put people at risk of mental health disorders and even suicide. In 2020, an 18-year-old student at the University of Illinois committed suicide. In 2017, a 21-year-old student who set himself on fire in front of the Krana Center.
There are different ways to suicide. Right? So for example, you can hang yourself. That's kind of like the way you do it in your own room.
Yeah.
Right. So this kind of people, they probably feel like probably we shouldn't let anyone to know. Also other people, they jump, or the more extreme is like they burn themselves. So those kind of suicide, they want more publicity, so they want to say something to the university.
Make a statement.
Yes.
The student who burned himself in the middle of the campus was making a statement that the university should pay more attention to students' mental health. UIUC has provided its students with a lot of mental health resources, such as the Counseling Center, the Mental Health Unit at the McKinley Health Center, and the AIDS Resource Center. But the important question is, do students find these resources helpful?
At the beginning of the pandemic, all the classes were online, and I just had no motivation to do anything, literally anything. And so I actually called school's counseling center and asked if I can get any help. But every day I call, they just told me they're fully booked, and you have to make an appointment on the same day of your visit. So you have to. I got up really early to make the call, and there's still no appointment available on that day.
When I try to make the call, counseling service said, "Oh, we don't have any spot available." That's pretty stressful. It keeps me away to try to reach out to them.
Being unable to schedule an appointment at the first call, is it an individual problem or a problem that many students have met? To find the answer to this question, I checked the annual report on the Counseling Center's website. Nearly half of respondents on our client feedback survey stated they were able to get a same-day appointment the first time they called. It sounds to me that they're pretty satisfied with this data.
Another thing I want to complain about Counseling Center, there are only 6 individual sessions. And once you used all 6 sessions, you're done with individual therapy.
The main thing that I was struggling with was sexual assault. And I think having support after that incident, even going through the reporting process and the Women's Resource Center, which I highly recommend. I love that center. But in terms of finding counseling or someone to support survivors on campus, I think was really difficult. And there was this narrative that if someone were to assault or something, it wouldn't be taken seriously, which further made my mental health not great. Even though they say we have all of these things to offer you, it didn't feel like I could go anywhere, and it wasn't like anyone could really understand what I was going through.
And of course, many times these resources are very helpful.
My first time at the Counseling Center was with a American therapist. I changed to a Mandarin speaking therapist the second time, mainly because we come from the same background, and maybe she will get a better sense of why I'm thinking this way. The Counseling Center is really well designed. I feel cozy and comfortable enough to speak.
So I did go to one of McKinley's stress management events during one of my final exams. That was really helpful. They give us cute little care packages. They also talk about how to manage stress, and they also talk about how it is still okay to not give your 100% in your exam, as in not scoring a 100 on 100 exam. It's still okay, because you are putting in a specific effort, and such things are in realization. You already know them, but somebody has to push you to say that you are still okay, you're still good, you can still do it.
In my freshman year, I didn't find the counseling center very helpful, but this semester I feel like it's much better because my counselor is better suited for me. And I also feel like the group counseling is, maybe for me, a lot of the parts are very basic, but I feel like in general for other students who are not psych major, they do offer a lot of important techniques for self-care and also techniques to improve their mental health.
The good thing is they had a group therapy that's only focused on the graduate students because, as we know, the group therapy is supposed to have a group of people who come from kind of the same background or having the same, the same goal. The sessions are constructive and helpful. Normally, I am a listener more than a talker. Sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it is listen. And even listening, I feel like it's also a good, nice atmosphere, environment to talk about things.
These are the students who have sought mental health support on campus. But how about the students who have never used the campus mental health resources? What gets in their way of asking for help?
There are places we can go to if if things are really bad or you need to decompress something. But I feel as though because the Black community is not used to talking about mental health, that it's hard for us to reach out.
I made one appointment before. I downloaded the highest U, which supported by the insurance. I was trying to make a appointment with the therapist, but I don't know, just 1 hour in advance I cancel it. I feel like, maybe they don't care about it, or maybe after I graduate they don't remember it, they won't follow up. So nobody really think this is gonna be a session for you to get to know about you, try to solve your problem, and follow up, catch your feedback and talk with you after you finish the conversation. Okay, there's another thing, the language barrier as well. Sometimes, personally, I'm not confident enough for my English. So when I talk to them, I know they are going to be patient, but I don't think they can get it 100%.
Because they speak different languages, their native language is not English, so they're afraid that they cannot communicate smoothly. They feel better to talk with somebody they know instead of talking to professionals.
University will they care about you, but at the same time, it's a very westernized way of caring about you. It's if you have any problem, don't hesitate to reach out to us. Because, what do you mean, I can reach out to you? Because in China, if you say I can reach out to you, that is just I'm just being polite.
There's also some cultural issue as well because me coming from Eastern culture, so people barely talk about their mental wellness because we are trying to be showing as a very strong figure. So that's definitely a stigma.
Among our interviewees, all undergraduate students have heard or used the mental health services on campus. However, among the 5 graduate students we interviewed, 2 of them have never heard of any mental health support services on campus, such as a counseling center. So, what can UIUC do differently to better support students? Based on students' needs, we have 4 suggestions for the counseling center. 1. Hiring bilingual counselors from diverse cultural backgrounds. 2. Making counselors' profile and schedule transparent, allowing students to make appointments for the following days. 3. Developing a better promotion strategy to reach out to more students, especially graduate students. 4. Provide mental health education for all freshmen to destigmatize help-seeking behavior. We also have 4 suggestions for our school to better support students from underrepresented backgrounds. 1. Providing more opportunities for students to connect with people from the same cultural backgrounds. 2. Making important information accessible in other languages. 3. Implementing programs to help international students overcome language barrier. 4. Connecting domestic students with international students. Please join us and make UIUC a better place.